So thank you very much for this warm introduction, and it is a great pleasure and a great privilege for me to be here today, meeting all of you, speaking with all of you. And I've been sitting, enjoying the speakers, the inspirational words, but also enjoying all the colors of the flags here that we have above us. And I think that is a wonderful symbol of the need for all of us to come together across differences, across continents, across sectors, to really work together to build that more sustainable future that we all envision for ourselves, for the planet, for our children, and in that way solve some of the global challenges that we are seeing, but also all leaning in to take the personal leadership, whatever our role may be. So that would be one of my first points here, kind of beyond my presentation in a moment, that we all have a role to play, and we can all play a much bigger difference than what we might think. So today I would like to take you on a journey on how digital transformation can drive sustainability for people and planet. Klaus, one of my big inspirators as well, shared with us how Novozymes is using their biotechnology to be an enabler of sustainable solutions. Well, today we're going to look more into how digital technologies can play some of the same functions, same role. So first of all, looking at the bigger picture, we are at a critical junction in human history. On one hand, we're facing global social and environmental challenges that we have never seen before in history. Many of these man-made, by the way, actually most of them. And on the other hand, we're at the edge of a digital revolution, digital transformation that is already changing the way we live, the way we work, the way we connect, even in the most rural areas of India or Africa or Latin America, but one where we are still only seeing the beginning. And I would say looking around in India today, you have both of these sides. There's the global challenges, and there's at the same time the digital transformation happening in the centers of IT here in India. So looking more into this, Klaus, you were talking about waves of transformation. I believe the same, and I believe that we are actually looking at these trends, these waves, either forming a perfect storm that we would not like to be navigating, so the perfect storm in a not so perfect way, or we can prepare to surf the waves, as is one of the images that Klaus is also talking about in terms of sustainability. But looking ahead, the key point here is that it's very much up to us. We are already seeing the global challenges, but looking 10 years ahead, 11 years ahead in 2030, as you all know, will be an additional billion of people on this planet. 70% will be living in cities, global megacities, struggling to solve the infrastructural problems, to create good lives for people. We will need 55% more water due to the increasing population, increasing industrial production. Food as well, needing a 60% increase in agricultural production to feed the population. And may I add, we'll need to reduce the 30% food waste that we have today. And looking at pollution, the way that we are managing, we are not being very good stewards of the planet today. If we continue the way we are today, there'll be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050. So that is the future, the not so distant future. And as you all know, we see these challenges already today. Of course, 2015 was a very important year. We had the Paris Agreement on climate, the world coming together on the climate goals, and even more importantly, the world leaders coming together, sharing the Sustainable Development Goals as the global roadmap to a more sustainable future. And I think what is very important about the SDGs as well is that they were actually developed in what I believe is the biggest multi-stakeholder consultation process in history, with input from civil society, from business, from governments around the world. So there we go, our shared vision for a more sustainable future. And 3-4 years in, we can say that there is definitely a higher awareness level of these goals than any other goals in human history or in the UN history as well. And I do believe that the magic of some colors is a great enabler, communicator as well. Maybe just a reminder to some of us working in CSR and sustainability. sometimes we don't do the communication or marketing part so well, but this is a wonderful example of the power and importance of communication as well. Now, on the other hand, let's dive into the digital transformation. And this is, of course, where the company that I'm privileged to work for, Dell Technologies, come into the picture. Dell was founded by Mr. Michael Dell in his dorm room in a college in Texas, in Austin, Texas, more than 35 years ago. Michael, as we call him in everyday language, Michael is still the CEO and the chairman of this company. I was just in Las Vegas, actually, last week for a global leadership convention with Dell, and he was on stage and sharing some of his visions also for the business, but also for sustainability, and saying very briefly that, well, a win is nice in the short run, but a legacy lasts a lifetime. So sustainability and ethics is very much a part of the core values of Dell Technologies and the vision of Michael Dell since he founded the company more than 35 years ago. You might know us as a computer corporation. Dell Computer Corporation is how the company was first known, and I'm happy to see the Dell logo also on the technology here today. But today, Dell Technologies is actually the biggest, one of the biggest IT companies in the world, with 160,000 employees on all continents, and being a powerhouse of digital solutions that can go from the hardware to the software, IoT, data, core, edge, cloud, everything you need in digital infrastructure, we actually have in-house today. So, but this purpose of creating technologies that drive human progress is very important, and there are different opinions about what the future holds in terms of these new emerging technologies. We are positive. We believe that with conscious stewardship, this doesn't come automatically, but we need to take the leadership here also of the digital transformation. Some of the emerging technologies that we will see change the world for 2030 is the Internet of Things, coming up, connecting everything and everybody in intelligent networks. It is the cloud computing, which enabling us to do computing, do analytics, do communication, everything cloud-based, which means that it is untied from the geography or the USB stick to transport things, and thereby expanding access and accelerating the insights that we can create. It is virtual reality and augmented reality, which some of us might see mostly as an entertainment thing, but is enabling us also to experience the world in different ways that we might not with our 7 senses. It is also being used for trainings in life-threatening situations like firefighting or other things. I've seen a wonderful also VR experience of the Amazon rainforest, which was to me a personal experience of wow, this is the magic of nature that we're also destroying if we don't take better care of it. Robotics, the servants that will take over, hopefully, all the hard work and the mental work of so many people today. Obviously, we need to look at how we create better and more meaningful occupation for all these people. But again, robotics enabling us to change the production and to hopefully help people get rid of a lot of the hard work today. You might say that we humans have been filling in for the robotics until they became clever enough to do the hard work. Last but not least, artificial intelligence and machine learning, really creating those dynamic insights based on the data from the Internet of Things, from all the sensors in different ways. If you look at a smart car or a smart city, there's so many data points being created just with our mobile phones every day. There is a lot of data being created there which can help us live our lives in a better way, whether it is health or when I travel around the world, I am relying on Google Maps and Uber to get around, or the weather apps to know what to pack. So many ways. And all in all, we know that there are people who are a bit pessimistic about the future. Let's be clear here from Dell Technologies and from Michael Dell. We do see an immense potential in these new technologies if we use them in the right way. And AI, artificial intelligence, as Michael Dell is saying, holds a potential to amplify the human creativity and unleash this torrent of innovation to solve some of our world's greatest challenges. And that is indeed the mission that we are also on, and which I'm happy to show you a few examples here today. Now, Klaus was sharing with us the Better World, Better Business report with the great business case of it's a $12 trillion of business potential in solving in solutions for the Sustainable Development Goals. This report, System Transformation, was released last year by the Global E-Sustainability Initiative and Accenture. And this report specifically dives into what is the potential of digital solutions to drive progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. And the key conclusion is, which you will also read in the UN document on the SDGs, that digital solutions will be and has to be enablers of most of the 17 goals in order to reach these goals. They also, by the way, conclude that there is a business case there to actually expand the total IT market revenue with 60%. And yes, I'm sure all of you are here because you deeply care about this topic, because we deeply, with our hearts, want to create a better future. But it is also important to show the business case, because that's when we can really get the big business engine to be a driver and not only do it on the left hand whenever there is time and surplus. So if we dive into the three pillars of sustainability, the environmental, the social, and the inclusive growth, I want to share with you a few examples of each of them. First of all, how we can use digital solutions to protect and use our natural resources more efficiently. The System Transformation report here says that within agriculture, for example, we would be able to increase crop yield with more than 900 kilo per hectare in 2030 and reduce food waste by more than 20%. Just a few examples here. And well, we're actually seeing that already. A wonderful example of this is AeroFarms, which is a startup company that we are fortunate to work with as one of our customers, but also in an innovative partnership. They actually grow vegetables, as you can see here, in warehouses in big cities. Using agriculture and using artificial intelligence to drive agriculture, to drive more smarter production. Producing food with 95% less water because they're able to recycle the water all the time, and actually driving up to 390 times higher yield per hectare, obviously because you're stacking them in this warehouse. So whether that would be useful for India, maybe yes, in terms of feeding the population in all the big cities where land is of course less, and also in sense of solving some of those water scarcity issues that are very real in many parts of India today. And if we stay in the agricultural food sector for one moment, one thing is producing the food, another thing is getting it to the table in a way that reduces food waste, in a way that keeps the produce fresh, but also in a way that reduces the current energy consumption of big supermarket or food cold chains around the world. So this is another example where we were working together with one of the big global supermarkets, working in the UK with their departments there, and applying basically quite simple solution, applying intelligence into their refrigerators, into the cold chain. So instead of just powering the same temperature all day and all night, and often putting too high a temperature or too much cooling in order to keep the food fresh, we work with them to install Internet of Things-based solutions, so they would be able to monitor each refrigerator. They would be able to manage the cooling so that it was adapted to that particular kind of food. I don't know if you have, I'm sure you've all had the experience of opening a yogurt, and you have to open it kind of far away from the body because otherwise it splashes. That's because it's been overcooled. So hopefully we can reduce energy consumption and also avoid all of us getting yogurt splashed out on our clothes whenever we want a yogurt on the go. So what we did with them, enabling this intelligence level, actually enabled them to much better manage the cooling, so that within the implementation phase alone, they saved more than $7 million of energy cost, and obviously lots of CO2 here. They were able to reduce the stock loss with 74% by cooling at the right temperature, not too little, not too high. They had 30% reduction in customer complaints about the spoiled foods, and they also reduced their maintenance expenditures with 40% because, again, they were better to monitor long distance and get a heads up if something was wrong. So a few examples here from the food sector. Now, I want to dive into I don't know if you're allowed to have a favorite pillar, but I am an anthropologist by training, so people is where I definitely get most excited, though the environment is crucially important for all species on the planet, and obviously also as environment for people. As you were saying, Peter, the planet will be absolutely fine with or without us. But digital solutions can definitely also help to improve the quality of life and the access to opportunities for all. We're seeing that every day as mobile-based healthcare solutions are transforming lives for people in rural areas. I used to work with a Grundfos, a worldwide pump company, developing solutions for sustainable water supply first of all, in East Africa, but now expanding across Africa and Asia as well. And the magic trick there was actually to give each family a water key with an RFID chip so they could go to the water ATM, which we implemented, and get water with a small fee, but at the right price, not like the high price from the vendors. And with that small ICT installation, we enabled a secure account of service fee, service money, remote monitoring to enable service, etc. So in short, a small change with ICT that actually connected or solved that missing link of sustainability in water projects as well. But back to the future here, back to the present and the future. So the System Transformation Report estimates that 1.6 billion people will benefit from e-healthcare by 2030. And again, we're happy that we here, Dell Technologies, in partnership with Tata Trust and the government of India, is helping to show at least some of the solutions and the way forward for this. So let me take you on a small journey here.
I love my job. We're working on issues that really matter to a large number of people. There's no major symptom when you have hypertension or diabetes or the cancers. And the fact that the poor are disproportionately impacted by these makes them really important to catch early. Preventive screening and early diagnosis and treatment dramatically improve the life expectancy and survival rates. So we looked at how technology could help the health worker do her job better, strengthening the primary healthcare system. So we're essentially creating a health record for every individual who's getting enrolled into the system. They get screened and the health record goes to the cloud, and there the doctors are able to access it. It allows the screening, referral, treatment and management of non-communicable diseases at a population level. The fact that our technology can help make a difference, especially in the rural areas, it's extremely satisfying and it's very meaningful.
Thank you. So this is a wonderful example of how digital solutions can drive sustainable solutions for people around the world, and also how one person can drive this. So Sunita, my wonderful colleague here, she has actually been driving this project herself based on an idea, and then gathering more and more support and engagement, and now building partnerships with Tata Trust and the government of India. And I'm looking forward myself to go and see the digital life care program for real on Wednesday. And this is one of the examples also now inspiring our work in Dell Technologies to really systematically work with technology transforming lives as one of our key areas of innovation as well. So, and also this scale here, we are planning to enable 37 million people with access to these healthcare solutions. Now, the last pillar here I wanted to touch upon is how to drive inclusive and sustainable growth with digital solutions. Again, the System Transformation Report estimates that digital solutions can save up to 20% of global CO2 emissions. So this is really about decoupling the growth. And cities is one of the big challenges here. I don't know if you recognize this situation from your everyday life, getting to work. Majority of the population is already living in cities, and that is causing challenges, and with a very simple thing as getting to and from work or healthcare or visiting families and friends. I live in Copenhagen, and fortunately, rush hour does not look like that, but it does take the double time to get to work in rush hour than beyond. And that is a system failure. Transport has become an insane problem. It's killing the productivity of a city when people have to sit in a car or otherwise other kind of overfilled public transport for 1 or 2 hours every day instead of just being productive. It is killing air quality, it is making people sick from respiratory diseases, and it's basically killing the future perspectives of a city. So transport being the only one way and connected cars being not the solution for everything, but it is one of the examples where digital solutions as an enabler, as a smart enabler infrastructure behind this can help, according to the report here, save 720,000 lives a year. Each year, more than 1 million people are killed in traffic as it is today. So if the car was invented today, we might have different views upon whether that was a good idea or not. But an intelligent car, there is definitely much more room for improvement than a human driver behind the seat. And just reducing the traffic accidents is in itself an immense positive benefit, but obviously also being able to better use the resources of the existing car fleet, so we don't go to work, park it in a parking lot for 7, 8, 10 hours and then go back home, but really keeping it working throughout. And this is one of the places where Dell Technologies is also working with some of the world's largest car manufacturers to develop these future transport systems. And again, transport is only one part of the system of these living organisms which cities are today. And really what it's about here is to rethink the living and connect systems in new ways that we haven't imagined before, which will connect both the rich and the poor to better citizen services, to enable better traffic. Better security as well is coming up more and more, obviously, as an important topic here as well. So we are working with cities around the world, from Hanoi to Rio to Dubai to New Delhi, working with the governments, with the municipalities to look at how can they develop a digital and smart strategy for their cities. So with this, I want to share and leave you with this thought that we do believe that the digital transformation will drive sustainable progress for people and planet, and we do believe we all have a responsibility to work towards this goal. So we invite you to join us in building a digital and a more sustainable future together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Fantastic. Thank you. You stop for a question. Thank you, Louise, for that insightful presentation. 1.6 billion people in the e-healthcare initiative. That's amazing.
That's the potential benefit of digital solutions. But yes, 37 million here in India, so that's a good start.
Starts with 37 million. Just a small number, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have time for one question. If there is a question out there, speak now or forever hold your peace.